off we go to Indonesia. Hey, so you join me here as I walk as fast as possible at Haneda Airport. I'm on my way to Jakarta, Indonesia. I'm gonna check out the IMX show. Basically, kind of really excited to go back to Jakarta. I haven't been to Indonesia for a good year now, and just kind of check out car culture there, see what people have been doing with their cars, and hopefully get to see some really cool collections and tucked away treasures that we always like to uncover. So really excited to get going. Out of breath here because I've been running. I thought I was gonna miss the flight. Had a bit of issue checking in. We got the ticket come in very late last night, so it was all super short notice and there was a bit of an issue for the return flight. So sorted that out. I'm now on my way to gate 141 for my flight. Jakarta. Now I gotta find somebody that's picking me up. All right, so made it through immigration quite smoothly. Thanks to great help. Yes. And now I just gotta wait. Actually got here so quick. There's no suitcases out yet, so have to grab my bag and then we're off to the hotel. All right. So one of the cool things is that if you guys remember from our Malaysia trip, we had Yip from Singapore helping us and taking us around, and he organized a bunch of shop tours for us and pretty much made the entire trip a hell of a lot more productive and fun. And I told him I'd be going to Jakarta literally yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, I'll come and see you." And actually, he's waiting outside, so we're gonna meet up with Yip, and he'll be joining me at the show, IMX. Here's Yip. Sorry to keep you waiting, dude. What's up, man? Every time I come to Asia, I get driven around in Velfires and Alphas, and the IMX has even got like stickered up courtesy van here. It's so cool. Thank you. Sorry. All right, here we go. So we're out here waiting for our ride to the show. This just showed up. Tiny little Chinese electric car. I mean, it is from the show. I hope this is not our actual ride. Wuling. That's pretty sick. And that's the show here. All right, finally we made it to the venue. Which is nicely air conditioned, so we don't need to sweat. 34 degrees in Jakarta today. Nice selection of VIP slammed Benzes, GTR. So what I think I'm gonna do is find out if there's like a media room set up, get my camera gear out and start filming and shooting. Okay, so I'm all set up. It's about time we officially start this IMX 2023 coverage. I'm just gonna start walking around and literally just stop at anything interesting that I run across. So we're basically on the far side of the show venue. A couple of cool wide body cars, Liberty Walk R35 in black. And then for some reason there's a Tesla making noise. Full carbon fiber Evo from MCI Carbon. I think I may have found the Fast and Furious corner. There's a Z33 up there, Supra here, and then of course one inspired by the movie. It's crazy, like even how in Japan everything seems to be going back to the movie. Everybody's like going back and doing like fortune kits to the FD and whatnot. There's even an R34 here with the same kind of livery as the one in the movie. Pretty 6 240 Datsun rally car here. If you remember, we actually came across this car, or at least the homologation street version of it, at the Oktama meet a couple of months back. So nice to see it lined up next to a R34 70 series Supra. Always nice to see one. This is wearing actual TRD 5-spoke rays at the front and BBS LM at the rear. RollsRoyce. Didn't expect to see old school RollsRoyces in Indonesia. I had an image of like being very JDM centric, but there seems to be a good mix of everything, including a lot of shops doing restorations. Here's an old school SL Mercedes. Super clean interior, like really well done. Leather trim, carpeting, very refreshed and rebuilt engine. Right here is an official Toyota booth. So I guess this show actually attracts manufacturers here in Southeast Asia to kind of do these cool show cars or concepts. Very interesting to see Toyota get involved. And they created this very large truck concept. It kind of has that boxy design that we've seen on the new Land Cruiser that was recently released in the States, that will be making it to Japan as the Prado. Here's another take on the same truck. So basically this is a mobile cafe. So you aspiring baristas out there, you can take your business mobile. But as cool as these concepts are, I think we want to check out some more JDM stuff. And I know Liberty is around here with their wide-body FD that was presented yesterday, so I missed the first day of the show yesterday when this really stunning FD was unveiled. So again, this is the wide-body kit that we've seen on so many cars in Japan, in so many liveries. Wegfest or Weekfest, there was the Coca-Cola one from Miyoshi Garage. And I think this is a very well executed take on the Liberty Walk FD kit. I think this has to be one of my favorite aero kits, or conversions really, that Liberty Walk have created. It just enhances the FD lines so much, and with this rear hatch conversion here actually gives it a bit of a Bosozoku feel as well. So this is definitely a car I'm going to be trying to shoot outside of the show once we're done. So I guess this is from the Indonesia Drift Series. Danny Ferdito's car, 180SX. I just love seeing how, you know, series that we're kind of familiar with, like the drift scene in Japan has progressed so much. US has its own kind of different take on things, and I love to see how emerging markets have their own kind of drift scene and how the cars are slowly progressing. I've actually been coming to Indonesia for a good decade now. I used to cover the Formula D Asia series back in the day. I followed RSR around for a couple of rounds here and did come to Jakarta and got to see the kind of very beginning of the drift movement here. And it's really nice to see that it's progressed and it's kind of gotten into a really, you know, advanced level now, so where drivers can actually start competing at series around the world. So we are pretty much done with this hole, so we'll go over to this side. I've already spotted some really sweet EG Civics around here, but this is something crazy. Check out the turbo setup here. So it's got a full race manifold feeding a Borg Warner turbo smart actuator for the built-in wastegate. And of course it's got a recirculating blow valve, something I really like on these Borg Warner turbos. Beautiful setup with the intake. Amazing build. This is gonna be one hell of a car to drive. Spoon wheels, and right behind there, AP Racing calipers. And a really, really nice interior. We'll have to see if we can have a look inside, but it's those Recaros that I've actually seen in Malaysia before. They were fitted to an Audi R8 at one of the shops that we visited. So really nice to see that kind of modern seat being used on legendary old school JDM cars like this. I was just talking to the mechanic who actually built the car, and you're saying it's four-wheel drive.
Yes, differential.
Oh yeah. So you guys have actually done a four-wheel drive conversion. What's the rear end? What are you using for?
We have CRV.
CRV?
From CRV.
Ah, okay. Okay, so we have the key now. We can have a look at this insane four-wheel drive Civic EG. And I was mentioning before here, those seats, those buckets.
And then sequential gearbox.
And a sequential gearbox. Which sequential?
Five.
So this is like the dream EG setup. I mean, I think you purists will probably cringe, but I just love things that are done so well. Like, look at how the shifter's integrated, spoon steering wheel, a nice little digital dash, super clean, nothing crazy, really well trimmed rear here, and a sort of integrated roll cage. And then of course, so wait, how much power does this generate? I mean, that Borg Warner is pretty big.
500 on wheel.
500 at the wheels. Wow. And is the engine stroked? Is it 2 liter or?
No, 2.4.
2.4 liter, okay.
2.4 liter.
So it's a 2.4, 500 at the wheels, all 4 wheels. Now we gotta try and drive this. We definitely have to try and drive this. Amazing, really cool setup. It's literally the first car I take a look at in detail, and it's already blowing my mind. Hey, love turbocharging stuff out here. Nice S15 R33 combo here. Big 19-inch Nismo wheels, wide body, and next to it a very simple R33 build. Take a look at this 997 from Fat Bro Garage. Pretty wild, wide body conversion, front and back, aero discs. It's kind of a reminder of what RWB are doing with their 997s, but done in a slightly different flavor. Very well proportioned. I have to say it flows extremely well. Literally been waiting for the lady behind on the booth to stop screaming through the PA so I could talk you guys through this really sweet wide body 180 SX. It's got very well executed fenders, front and back. Sits with a little bit of a negative camber for that kind of slammed look. Complete kind of street build, so lots of audio in the back. Very well refined cabin. Seems to be like suede pretty much everywhere. Hydro, Nismo shifter, lots of Defi gauges around there, I think they are. And a very clean setup. Unfortunately, not too much space around it, so I'm struggling to get the whole car in the picture. But so this is pretty much what I would categorize as the Impreza STI dream, in that Even back in the day when I was kind of shooting for magazines more, I did a shop in Japan called Lounge Sport. They used to have a WRC inspired wide body kit, and it was pretty much recreating what the GDB rally car looked like. And they did a great job, but I think this really nails it so well. It's very high quality. I have to say it fits amazingly well. It seems to be carbon fiber. You can actually see the carbon fiber under the paint. So the widening kind of begins right at the beginning of the rear door, goes right across the rear fenders, WRC style dry carbon mirrors, those unmistakable fenders, and just extremely well done, like very, very well executed. This is the absolute dream for an Impreza STI guy that just wants to have a legit WRC look for the street. It even has the little camera setup next to the roof scoop, and of course that finned rear wing. And if we look at it from the back, it sits so well, and it seems to be built on an STI Spec C, so pretty much the homologation special that was built for WRC regulations. So spot on all the way for me here. There's this really cool Celica GT4 on OZ wheels. Up here I came across this custom built Cobra replica, and strangely enough, a 76 Torana. So this is not the first time we see Aussie cars in Southeast Asia. I remember seeing a couple at Custom Fest last year, and also at Art of Speed. But this really ups it. The level of work that's gone into this car is pretty impressive. Inside and out, custom made, massive engine setup, and a side exit, double exhaust. And if we take a look from the back, it certainly has a ballsy setup. It's a slant C-Class wagon on Brabus tri-spokes. Center stage here, when we saw it come in, it wasn't this busy, but it really is getting the most attention here at the show, together with the Liberty Walk FD. That would be the S15 Silhouette Formula S15, which they unveiled yesterday. So this is actually a build that was done here in Indonesia. It's not the Japanese car that's been shipped here or anything, and it joins a host of other cool JDM cars that are being built for the show specifically. Hell, even electric cars get attention here. This is a Hyundai Ionic 5 electric hatch with a wide body conversion, tons of carbon fiber. It's a really nice take on the kind of original design. They've really kept the design language kind of similar, very angular, and they've created what looks like a race car for the street. I'm quite impressed how many of these Wuling EV City cars there are. A lot of them are actually modified. So this would be the stock version, and here is one sitting on tiny little BBS rims. Pretty interesting. Full EV from China, and very popular here in Malaysia. Right behind here, nice ER34 wearing what looks like a Urus Aero. And again, we find this MCI carbon brand on pretty much any car here in Jakarta. And of course, here I find the Yip drooling over a black limited. Pretty sick. Spotted this really sick M4 wide body wearing this forged carbon fiber, or at least, I don't know, I can't even tell if it's a wrap or the real, actually no, it's the real thing. Forged carbon fiber bonnet, lip spoiler, canards, side skirts, rear spoiler, rear diffuser, rear bumper finishers here on the wide body panels, and even an antenna. The Indonesian car culture does include very much a lot of European and American cars as well. Here's another of those Air EVs from Wuling. These things seem to be like the most popular promotional vehicles here in Indonesia. And right behind here, I spotted a couple of old school Mercedes-Benzes. One on stock ride height, one slightly lowered. What really caught my attention is this E86 Hachiroku on Equip on 40s. Limited edition model as well, so collector item, nice dark blue, beautiful build on some Toyo Procus 888s, R888s. Go to the back, color matched over fenders, tons of lit on these 40s, carbon fiber trim under the skirts, and apparently it's a 2-liter turbo. We definitely need to take a look at the engine bay on this. All right, so they actually opened up the bonnet, and as I thought, there is an RB26 swapped into this wide body S15 we were looking at before. Very, very clean setup, completely like wire tucked and cleaned up engine bay. Bit of gusseting around the extra supports that have been added in. If you look at it, it's all redesigned. Nice brushed or machined cam covers, carbon fiber intake, little electronic throttle, massive HKS T51. Really, really beautiful work done here. And the R33 next to it, similar setup. Loving the machined aluminum covers here. So literally after drooling on the EG6 with a turbo conversion and the 4-wheel drive, we have something a little bit more conventional here. And a K-swapped EG. Lots of K-tune goodies on it. Mugen rims, Mugen brakes, Mugen seats, stripped out rear end, nice little roof spoiler. A very nice take on a more kind of conventional, street-tuned, K-swapped EG. Right here's this super sick spoon wide body kitted S2000. So the stock F20 is running an HKS GT2 supercharger, ARC airbox, lots of like hand welded piping, super clean setup. And so right next to the spoon inspired wide body AP1 is this EG6 coupe, which of course, like all coupes, was actually made in America, even though it's right hand drive. Pretty sweet B series setup. And these meticulously welded lobster tail headers, 4 into 2 into 1, I guess. No, 4 into 1. 4 into 1 exhaust. Oh yeah, nice coupe EG setup on some work CR. I came to check out the Edent Plus booth. So these are the guys that built the four-wheel drive EG Civic. They have a GT3 GTR here. It's crazy. So this is what Nissan will sell you, or at least used to. That's the GT3 race car, ready to race. I think it comes with like a spare engine and all the necessary tools to at least get these center locks off. So a lot of private teams in Japan buy these GT3 cars as a kind of like an entry level into GT300 series, Super GT, and it's pretty crazy. It's exactly the perfect way to get into like gentleman racing on a very high budget, because this would be seriously expensive. But these guys do a lot of work. We're actually gonna try and go and visit Edent Plus at their shop here in Jakarta in the next couple of days. They do build some really crazy cars. There's another EG over here, K-swap, not turbo, but dry sumped. So interesting setup. Some serious JRZ dampers with remote reservoir there. Advan racing wheels. Just really nicely set up and modified cars. The kind of stuff that we really want to see. We get to this Evo 4 drag car. So this is one of their race cars that they built. It's so far managed a 9-second pass. So it's 1,000 horsepower to the wheels. Turbos mounted in front of the engine. Pretty crazy, cooled intake manifold. So you can see how the massive GT45 spews out its exhaust gases, and the wastegate screamer right here on the side of the fender. Massive PWR cooler that through dry ice and coolant actually cools the intake charge. So no intercooling, it's actually charge cooled, and the tank where the dry ice is kept is there, and once it accelerates off the line, the excess fumes and sometimes liquids kind of spew out of there. Radiator set up in the back with the tiny little fuel cell, just what's enough for one single pass. So as I was saying, this car has done a 9-second pass. It first set the record, then the record was broken, and then they redid a pass to kind of get the record back. So it currently sits at 9.0 on an unprepped surface. So once somebody kind of develops a prepped drag strip here in Indonesia, they'll be able to get like the maximum potential out of this car. Okay, so apparently this is a new thing. Speakers under Teslas. Please discuss in comments. All right, so I'm going to close the coverage to the IMX 2023 show. I have to say, I really always enjoy coming to Indonesia or any Southeast Asian country and just seeing how car culture keeps kind of like pushing, evolving, and how, you know, Japan is the reference point for so much. It's the style and trendsetter that everybody tries to, I wouldn't say replicate, but at least kind of get inspiration from, so that they can execute styles or builds in similar fashion to what people do in Japan. It's been amazing. Jakarta's awesome, Indonesia's awesome. Everybody's so friendly, the food is great. Had a ton of like awesome times here. And I even got to catch up with guys like Kato-san. I mean, I just look forward to coming back to next year's show and just seeing how it all kind of progresses and evolves. So thanks for checking in, and there'll be more coming from Indonesia, so stay tuned for more.